Okay, you guys. So I'm super excited to have Samantha on our Zoom tonight. If you guys don't know who she is, you have been living under a rock. She is a top 20 income earner. She is like the number one point earner for Jamaica, all the things, Ruby Builders, all the things. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her and hear all the little tips and tricks that she has. But first off, I'm going to unmute you. If you want to go ahead and share a little bit about your story, and then some of my girls have some specific questions, and we'll just kind of see where the Zoom takes us.
Sounds good. Hi, guys. I'm excited to chat with y'all tonight. So I'm Samantha Bowers. I am a presidential diamond out of Pennsylvania. I've been with It Works for almost 9 years. March will actually be my 9th year. And you might not have heard of me if you've been around a while till the last couple of years. And that's because I just kind of worked my business enough to just make the money. And I wasn't like trying to do anything great with it until probably 2020, right before 2020. When my husband and I just really wanted to bring him home full time. And I was like, you know what, this is the vehicle. I know what we have our hands on. I already know the incredible things that we can do with this. And I was like, you know what, I'm really just going to start taking this seriously and I'm going to run. And it was an incredible journey until now, 3 years that it took us to get to this point, and I am just running and not stopping. So I started at Works back in March of 2015 as a full-time restaurant manager. At the time, I was working for Outback Steakhouse. You guys have probably all heard of it. And I was working about 65-hour weeks. We had 3 kids at home at the time. We have 4 kids now, and our kids are 18, 12, 4, 10, and 4. So we have 2 boys and 2 girls. So life was just a series of working all the time and still not being able to pay the bills. We were not spending a lot of time together, which actually put a huge strain on our marriage. We actually had talked about separating. It was that bad because we were putting the hustle for money in front of everything else, in front of our relationship, in front of our children. And it just was a cycle that I knew that we needed to get out of. And my husband worked too. He worked more than I did, surprisingly. We literally would pass each other at the door. Has anyone done that with their spouse or significant other? He would get home from work. I would be like, hey, dinner's on the stove. Kids are ready to eat. I'm leaving. I'm off to work. And I wouldn't see him until I got to bed that night. He was usually asleep. And it sucked, for lack of a better word. Like, life was not what I thought life was going to be like when we grew up. I thought we were going to, have a happy marriage, spend all this time together, get to go on trips with our kids, get to, be a family. And I was missing bedtime, bath time, dinners, all those things. And it wasn't until my oldest son, my stepson's first season of lacrosse, when I missed every single game, that I was like, this is not the way that I want to live life anymore. This is not fair to our children. It's not fair to you. And I knew that something had to change. But being a 2-time college dropout, I am a legit beauty school dropout. My husband never graduated either. We just didn't have a lot of options. Like, you can't just snap your fingers and make 6 figures a year when you don't have a college degree. So I also knew that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life managing a restaurant. As much as I love being a bartender. I love all of that aspect of that. Someday I want to own my own bar, but I don't want to be a slave to anyone else ever again. So we had a really bad fight the night that I joined about money. Drop me a 1 if you've ever had a fight with your significant other about finances, right? We've all been there. And that night, it was like 11 o'clock at night. I laid down my head. And at the time, I was not a very spiritual person. I believed in God. I knew there was a higher power. But I didn't have the relationship with him that I do now. But I laid my head down and I was like, listen, God, I need something. I need you to give me a sign. I need to know what I need to do here. I cannot continue like this anymore. Has anyone ever hit rock bottom to that point where you're like, just show me what I need to see, right? And you guys, this is the craziest thing. My enroller messaged me literally 2 minutes later. And I got one of those messages in your inbox that we've all gotten. And I'd spoken to her before, but I also ignored her for an entire year. I would string her along. I would act like I had the money when I really didn't. I would tell her that I would sign up on Friday. Friday would come. I would ghost her. Okay. Has anyone had those people? Drop me a 2 if you have some of those people right now. I'm going to tell you one thing. Don't give up on them. And here's why. She sent me that one last message, and that one last message that she sent ended up her signing a now top 20 income earning presidential diamond because she had the balls to send one more message. Now, she quit at diamond, her enroller quit at double, and my upline quit up until I am the highest person working in my leg. And that is okay, because I rose up, because cream rises to the top. I never quit. I'm still not going to quit. I'm going all the way to ambassador. Because I know what this business is capable of doing if you make that decision that you're going to go for it. I am no different than any one of you. I don't have a network marketing degree. I don't know how to do, I didn't learn social media overnight. I don't have any of that, or didn't have any of that. All I did have was the ability to take what I knew that I wanted and put that vision in front of myself and decide that if I put the work, the time, the effort, the time to figure out, what exactly I needed to do to make this work, I was going to continue to rise to the top. And, it's where we are now. But I also want you to think it doesn't happen overnight, you guys. That's why you haven't heard, a lot about me probably until recently. It was 3 months to Ruby for me, 2 years for Diamond. The month after I went Diamond, I went double. Another year and a half till I went triple, and I was 4 years in until I went presidential diamond. I've been sitting at Prez since 2019, and that's okay. It's going to take me 9 years to go ambassador, and you know what? I've learned so much over those 9 years. I'm going to be one of the strongest, longest lasting ambassadors you've ever seen in this company. So here I am.
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that, because I know that so many people, when they look at what their next rank is, they're like, gosh, I wish I would have been there. I wish I would have promoted earlier. Like next month, it'll be 5 years since I promoted to double. And would I have wanted to go triple before? Yeah, but it's not like when I go triple this month or next, I'm going to be like, you know what? It's not even exciting because it didn't happen earlier. Like it's still just as fun and just as exciting. And there's so many things that you learn along the way to get to that rank, that when you're really ready for it and God's like, okay, you learned all the things, it's going to come together. And I love that you talked about that. And I love that you said, like, you didn't have all this info about social media. You didn't know all the things of what to do, but you were willing to put the work in, and you didn't expect it to just happen overnight. Because a lot of people sometimes were like, we joined and it's like, well, I didn't make $500 in my first 4 seconds. And it's like, well, duh. Like if you went to get a full-time job, you wouldn't make $500 in your first day either. And it just kind of takes a learning curve. So what I want you to talk about first is, I actually didn't know that you kind of had like a breaking point of like, okay, I've been in and now we're going to run. So talk to us about like what that shift looked like for you, of what that shift was. Like, what did you do differently for these past 3 years versus your first 6? And there you go.
You're good. Well, I had a couple like different shifts in my business. The first one that I kind of touched on was back in 2018. I had been begging my husband to have another baby. So obviously I said my stepson, we have 2 together, and I'm an only child. Speaking of my youngest, she's trying to sneak in here. I'm an only child, and I knew that I wanted a big family. He's the baby of 4. So for the longest time, I was convincing him to have one more, just one more. And I was begging and pleading. So finally, you got to ask Daddy. Okay, we'll go to Target later. Create monster. Okay, so yes, tomorrow. So I told him that, I want another baby. This is what I wanted. I just had it on my heart that we needed one more, and you learn why later on. But finally, he looked at me dead in the eye, and he was still working at the time, and he was like, "If you want another kid, you need to make more money." And it was just flat out, you want another kid, we need to make more money. We were still, it works was paying the bills. We were great, but we weren't ahead. We didn't have college funds started. We didn't have all those things that you need when you're going to have 4 kids. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make him eat his words. So I went from barely paid as a diamond, and finding out that we were pregnant with her in June of 2018, barely paid as a diamond. And I promoted to triple diamond 2 months later in August, on bed rest, super sick, unable to like get off the couch. Promoted from barely paid as a diamond to triple. And the month after I had her, and this is why I will tell you, there's no excuse in the world that can keep you from working your business. The month after I had her, actually promoted to presidential diamond. So I went from barely paid as a diamond to Prez, because I knew that I wanted another kid, and I wanted to do it comfortably, and I wanted to prove my husband wrong. There is no better feeling than proving your spouse wrong. So I did all of that in that season, and I was a strong Prez, top 150 income earner, all the things. Paid off our debt at that point, and I was actually able to bring my husband home full-time in 2021 during a pandemic, while we bought our dream home, like all of those things, I was able to bring him home full time. And it was such a huge blessing for our family at the time. And now this season, during all of the crazy that's going on in the world right now, just, financial changes and all the things, we had actually gotten to the point where he had to go back to work just part-time, but just to be able to help out and pay the bills again, just so we could feel like we were steady, like everything's paid off. But when you start tapping into your savings, things get scary. So we were like, all right, you need to work again. And it took literally him being back to work for a month for me to decide that that's not what I wanted. And I wanted to do whatever I could possibly do to ensure that he never had to go back to work again. Now, he's still working willingly because he works at the beer distributor. He loves his job. But I was like, I just cannot have that feeling that he has to work. I want him to want to work. There is no better feeling than you thinking that you can go to work because you love your job. And that is what I was able to do for my husband. So that was the biggest defining moment for me recently. And that is a lot of the reason why when, Christmas cash came out and success bonuses and all of those things where I was able to legitimately make whatever amount of money I wanted to make if I put in that effort. And you guys, I earned 17 success bonuses because I said, I want it. I want it and I'm going to go get it. And it doesn't mean you have to work all day long. It doesn't mean that you always have to be on your phone. You just have to be super, super methodical and consistent and dedicated. And when you know exactly what you need to be doing and you do just those things, you're going to make the money. But you have to put those blinders on and you have to focus on what is going to bring in the income. So that's kind of where we are at right now. But I love the fact that I am in control of my income.
Yeah, I love that. You guys, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Stay tuned for green carpet because there are some things coming that you will want to be ready to run. I would say start running now because you will be very happy come a week from today. Promise. Okay. So we're like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hear what we were saying here. Okay. So talking about being methodical because I preach on that too, because so many people think that to be successful in the business, you have to spend 23 out of 24 hours a day working the business, which is just not the case and not realistic. So talk to us about what your day looks like and what you focus on so that you're doing those income producing activities versus just nonsense.
Absolutely. So one of the most important things to me in this season is to be a present mom. I did not sign up for this business so I could be on my phone 24/7. If I wanted to work all the time, I'd still be working in a restaurant. I will tell you that if you have a big goal, like if you're going for a big promotion, or if you say, hey, I need to make $500 in 2 weeks with our bonus system, then I would understand you working a little bit more. I will also tell you, please be super open with your spouse and your family when you are working more in those times. Because if they understand that, hey, in this season or in this month or whatever it is, I might be working a little bit more. I might be agreeing to doing a little bit less with our friends and our family because of this, but I'm doing this so I have more time next month or 6 months from now. So please, please make sure that you're in communication with whoever it is that you live with or you're around. But for me, I knew kind of walking into where we are now that I did not want to go ambassador being on my phone all the time. I didn't want to feel like I had to constantly have a cell phone in my hand. I didn't want to feel like my team constantly needed me and they were unable to work without me kind of hand holding them. So a big thing that I've done is create systems that they are able to work on their own. And I do not have to check in with them every single hour of every single day. I love talking to my team. I love chatting with them. I love knowing what their goals are, for the week. But I want them to be self-sufficient because you guys, I went pres without an upline. If I can go pres without an upline, they don't need me checking in on them every day. So setting up those systems is really big. For us, I've got an incredible triple she's on who does a task list for us every single day in our boards. So it's easily able to be copied and pasted for our team. They can put the post right up. They can save the stories, put them right up. And she does that every day. So that's something that I've done is to delegate things out to other people on my team that I don't necessarily need to be doing. We talk all the time and I'm like, oh yeah, this post is working really well. Like maybe we should try this tomorrow, but I don't have to physically do it. As far as me working my business, guys, you've heard it, post to post all day long. If you do one thing for your business, I would say two, but host to post is number one. Number two is Reels and TikTok. If you do just those two things to drive traffic to your inbox, you are going to be a successful distributor. I am not, I hate what's it called? I hate, Oh my gosh, interaction. I hate it. I just don't like it. I don't feel that it's genuine. So I would rather drive people to my page via Reels and TikToks and interact with them that way. When they're commenting on my stuff, then I love to reply. But I'm not a big fan of going down my news feed and commenting on people's stuff. If I open my phone and I see somebody got married or somebody, whatever, like I'll comment on a couple posts, but I don't love just like set a timer and do it for 20 minutes. That's just not me. It's not something that I enjoy, but you can still boost your algorithm other ways. I do like to go through stories and interact on stories. And here's why, because when you comment on somebody's story, it puts a message in your inbox. So that way I'm able to use that later as either someone to ask to host a post or someone to send a reach out message to because they're already in my inbox. So those are like the key things that I am doing. Reels, I do every single day. That is a non-negotiable for me. And the biggest reason why is because I started this business with no Instagram and TikTok wasn't a thing. And I've grown my social networks to over 400,000 followers on Facebook, over 120 something on Instagram, and over 300,000 on TikTok, just from doing those videos every single day. And those are bringing traffic to my pages, and they're going to get in my inbox, and they're going to be potentials for me. So if you only do two things, I would 100% do post to post and do TikTok. So the majority of my day, honestly, is spent me checking host to post and me going through my inbox asking people to host, and then me getting reels up because I love to message people that follow me from reels, people that like my reels, and people that comment on my reels. And it is a super simple, hey, thanks for the love on my reel. Were you just showing support or were you interested in what I do? Simple message. And that's for a like, a follow, or a comment on those reels. And then I get them in my inbox. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to send a just showing support, but what is it that you do? And then that leads into a conversation about I'm in the health and wellness business. I make money from my phone. They then become a potential for me.
I love
So
that. Okay, so
biggest part of your day, reels and TikTok and host posts.
yeah, I love that. Okay, so I know that I'm literally getting so many of like two private messages, like people messaging things separately. Okay, so I'm gonna try to ask them all. So first, people are asking, where do you get those real ideas for?
Yes. So, um, super easy. I actually steal memes from Pinterest. So I search Pinterest for marriage jokes or wife jokes, mom jokes, and it literally, Pinterest will then start showing more of them on your feed. So then when I go on Pinterest, I'll set a timer for like 5 minutes and I'll save however many I see. And then those, I just put the wordings on to trending sounds, and that's how I make them. I batch record my TikToks and my reels. So Sundays, today is not a good example because it was raining outside. My hair is a mess, but I will shower and I will record like 20 videos and I will save them. And then that's what I use all week long. I don't recommend saving them for more than a week because by the end of the week, those sounds are usually not trending any longer. But if you do a couple like 20 on a Sunday, you're able to put up 2 a day for the rest of the week. All you got to do is go into your Pinterest, find one of those funny wordings, put it on the video, and up it goes.
Okay, perfect. I love that because I know, like, there was a girl on my team that she was like, "Is Samantha really that funny? Like, did she come up with it?" And I was like,
I am funny.
I was like, she is funny, but I'm gonna guess she doesn't make all those up. Okay, okay, so I wish
Sometimes I do. Sometimes my husband sends me memes. Does anyone's husband text them like stupid things, golf jokes all the time? Or if I'm in this is the most random thing, either driving or in the shower is when I come up with the ones that I actually come up with. Cause I'm literally just like, what could I like? And then those are actually pretty funny usually. But this is going to
So
make you guys crazy. I do post 5 TikToks a day and I take 1 to 2 of them and put them on Instagram.
okay, and then that was a question. How many of those, like, how do you split up like funny ones versus how many business, how many product?
So I've kind of played with this a lot, but what I'm doing right now and what is working right now is I post 5 TikToks at one time. Not like, but it's like put the words on post, words on post, words on post. And it's usually 1 opportunity, 1 giveaway, 1 product, and 2 funny.
Okay,
And
you
it
guys hear
doesn't
that?
really matter what order, but it's 2 funny and then 1 product, 1 opportunity, 1 giveaway. And I post them as if they were host to post wording. So if you read my ones that are product or opportunity, they're typically worded like a host to post because host to post work. So that wording works on TikToks.
Yeah. You guys, I want you guys to hear this. This is super simple. This is not anything crazy. If you guys go look at her TikToks, every time I look at your reels, I'm like, I can do that. I can sing a song. I can laugh. I can take a sip of
I
water.
don't even dance in them because I can't. So don't do what you can't do.
I used to try. So like I was a dancer for 17 years, literally. So I'm like, I should have excelled at TikTok. I did not. I don't love dancing in front of a camera. It's this is not my thing. I was like, I should have been great at this, and it's not my thing. But I'm like, you don't have to dance. You don't have to do, literally, it's so easy. And then when you do like a short sound with words, then they'll just replay it, which then boosts the algorithm even more. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then the question that I got was, first off, can you say that simple response again? And second, do you send that to someone that likes any video or only opportunity product or giveaway?
Oh my gosh, any of them,
Okay.
especially if you have one go viral. If you have a TikTok go viral, and I mean, even if you have 100 likes, I am going through. I don't send, okay, so men are not my target network. That's just me. I just don't feel comfortable talking to men unless they come to me, then that's whatever. But I usually message the females. That's just where I'm at. I just feel like, yes, men are welcome in this business. Yes, they do great, but my target network are moms. So I'm usually like, all right. But my response, I can't type, but it is thank you for showing this, or it's like or follow or comment, but it's usually like, thank you for the like on my reel, or thank you for the comment on my reel. Were you just showing support, or are you interested in what I do? That's it.
Perfect. Okay. Next question that I got was, what are you doing to get up host a post a day, and how many are you wanting every day?
Okay, so my goal is outrageous, but also I'm going ambassador. If you're going for Ruby or
Yes,
through
you guys,
Diamond, like it's
hear
not
this?
that big.
I'm glad you said that, because I know some people were like, oh my God, 5 reels a day. So for me, I'm like, cool, I can do 5 reels a day. But if
You
you're
guys, one a day.
yeah,
If
you
you
guys,
do one a day on
yes,
Reels and TikTok, the biggest thing with those two platforms is the fact that you are doing one a day. And if you are doing one a day, make sure you're doing it the same time every single day. That is the best way that you can boost your algorithm on those platforms. Again, I am trying to go ambassador over here.
yeah,
I am doing things on a magnified scale.
yeah.
So as far as host to post, I would say 10 is like golden number. I think 10 for anywhere from Ruby to Diamond is an incredible number. If you're working full time and you just really cannot get 10 up, 5. But 10 is like even my comfort zone. That's when I feel like I've had a good day. Anything less than that, then I'm like, oh my gosh, that was not great. So personally, I aim to get about 20 host to post up a day. But also, I am a stay-at-home mom who works full time. So I have a lot of time to ask people to host a post for me. But that is how I spend the majority of my day, is in my messenger asking people to post. And don't do it all at once. I'll send like 20 out, and then I'll go do something else. I'll go over to Instagram and I'll reply to Reels comments. So 20 in an hour and then go do something else is the best way to not get blocked. And what I usually do is I'll start with the conversations that I had the day before, and those are the first people that I'm asking. It works as like a follow-up message. I usually always have them post about a product, and if they were interested in the product, if they were interested in the opportunity, I have them post about the opportunity. That way it like clicks in their brain, oh yeah, I was interested in that too. So I start there, and then if I feel like I've run out of people there, then I'll go back to the month before, or I'll go to people who posted for me last month, or I'll go, if you've been in for longer than a year, I'll go to my memories from last year. I'll go to any posts about the business or products, and I'll ask those people. So there are a million and one ways that you can find people to host for you, but always start with the people you talked to yesterday.
I love that. Okay, so I know that something that a lot of my new girls are struggling with, and I'm sure you've had this too, is that newer distributors, when they join and they have like 500 friends on Facebook, and they ask all of those to host a post, what do you recommend to get more people to host posts versus asking the same people 3, 4, 5 times?
Yes, because that's not fun. It doesn't get you anywhere. I usually suggest starting with getting people to post the giveaway for you, and make sure that you've asked your enroller upline for a good one, because there are some that don't work and there are others that get a lot of interaction and comments. So start by having people post a giveaway for you. That way you can ask their friends to post for you, and that's going to grow your network that way. Another way that I teach my team to do, and not everyone does this, but I actually have them add people and ask them to host a post when when they accept. They're either interested or they're not. And if they're not interested, that's cool, move on. But if you're adding new people and growing your network, then you can ask people that way. And a big way to get people to actually say yes is to be adding people that are, number one, local to you, because they're going to look at your page. Number two, you have someone in common, like it's your brother or your husband or your cousin, like someone that you're close to in common. And then like 5 or more mutual friends, right? Has anyone seen one of my memes that's like, what in the heck in the one mutual friend do you want? Like nobody wants someone with one mutual friend asking them to be their friend. So if you have 5 or more mutuals, typically they're like, oh, I must have met this person somewhere. I must have whatever. And then they're more likely to accept that way. So local, someone big in common, and 5 or more mutual friends is where I go with it.
Okay. I love that you said that, because that's something that I've thought about telling people, but I just feel like I needed someone to be like, that's okay, that you can message someone right after they accept your friend request. And that's kind of how I am with like, if people say no, I'm like, cool, I'll just unfriend you. Like, it doesn't really affect me. Same thing with sending friend requests. If they're like, how do I know you? I don't accept new people. I'm like, great, cancel friend request. Next.
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes I'll answer and be like, oh, just making new friends. And I've had people accept like that and not care.
Yeah.
But if I don't love on face. I mean, I don't love straight up cold messages. I don't love straight up, hey, try my skinny wraps the second after they accept. But I feel like if you're asking them to post for you, you're asking them if they want to win $500 or whatever your giveaway is. Like, I don't feel like that's as icky as sending a straight up cold message. I will cold message on Instagram. It's just a lot more acceptable over there. But Facebook is more like you kind of need to like go out and date a little bit with someone. I feel like Instagram's more like Tinder, like it's like swipe left, swipe left. So it's just like a quicker. So Facebook, I'm like, I'll send a host to post ask, but Instagram, that's a whole other beast.
Totally different. Okay. I love that you said that. It's so funny. Okay. So I'm trying to get through as many questions as I can. What would you tell the new distributor version of yourself, knowing what you know now?
I would definitely tell myself to get over myself. The first year I joined, I did not go to conference. The second year I did go. And when I went, I was an executive. I like new executive, and I was actually, I was a emerald paid as an executive when I went, and there's nothing worse than not being paid as your highest rank when you go to conference. Even now, I'm paid as a triple diamond goes. Yeah, still not great, but that is motivation to get back to where you are, first of all. So getting over yourself in the sense of you need to kind of forget what you've gone through, forget what happened, forget that you dropped your rank, forget that, whatever you've got going on, because we've all got baggage, and act as if you are brand new, fresh eyes, starting over. What can I take from this situation? So that leading into green carpet, if anyone's going, just look at it as this is my day one. I'm going to take whatever I can from the incredible speakers on stage. I get to talk. I'm going to take in whatever it is that I can take in from these people, and I'm going to go back home and I'm going to implement it. It doesn't matter if you are a diamond paid as a distributor, like you are able to take that advice and the things that we're going to tell you, and you're going to be able to run with it. But you need to go in there with that fresh set of eyes, forget where you have been, and focus on where you are going. I know that it's hard when you're like, oh my gosh, I used to be this, this, and this, and now I'm not. It's hard for me too. But you know what? That was a different season than we are in now. So that just getting over it and just getting back to work. Pam Souter used to say that all the time, get over yourself. So I'm in it, I'm going.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. So what tips do you have for people that are running for promotions, whether it's Ruby, Diamond, whatever, but they still feel like they need a lot of volume?
I think the biggest thing that we can do is to bring in new distributors. I love customers. Customers are great, but you guys, if you're bringing in distributors and you're constantly bringing in distributors, even if it feels impossible, because trust me, it does feel impossible some days. When you're able to bring in people and you're able to teach them exactly what you know and how to do this business, it's going to make it so much easier on you to build and be successful. So even if you're going for Ruby and you have one working distributor and 2 that aren't, that is one more person that is able to help you grow your business. And if you can teach one person to go Ruby, you can teach 10 people to go Ruby. And you want to continue to have those conversations. Love customers all day long, alone, distributors are 10 times more valuable to you. So focus on the distributors. If you need to bring in volume, then have a conversation with that distributor about, hey, you want to try, coffee or gummies too this month? We can throw that on, like depending what kit they get. Or when you're bringing them in, we're going to teach them that 4-in-1. So they're going to bring in those 4 customers and they're going to bring in volume with them. So that way you're not doing this on your own. So that's going to make it a lot easier on you, and it's going to make those promotions come in a lot faster. And the second thing is to know exactly what you need down to the volume amount for the promotion that you're going for. So if you're going for Ruby, you need to have that chart out and you need to know exactly what you need and exactly where you need it. There's nothing worse or that drives me crazier. I'm super red if you can't tell in this business than when people have no clue what they're doing. Right? Like I want you to know exactly what it is you need to do to get to where you are going. And if you don't, or you're confused, then that's a conversation that we need to have for the 17th time. And that's fine. I need you to have that chart out and I need you to know what needs to go in order to make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you said distributors, because a lot of times when we need volume, we're like, okay, get customers. But adding a new customer is like addition, and having a new distributor is like multiplication. Because you can only physically talk to so many people. But would you rather sign 5 customers or sign 5 distributors who each sign 5 customers? You have that's your pick, right? And like you said, you have to know where you're going. It's like you would not get in a road trip to drive to Dallas to green carpet without directions, right? Like you wouldn't do that because you wouldn't know how to get there. So you have to know where you're going. And I guess the last thing that we will end on is, what do you do? Like, what are your best mindset tips? Whether you feel like you're in a rut, you're coming out of a rut, you're trying to stay good, like, what are your best things for mindset? What do you do?
So first of all, mindset 100% always starts with you. It's not anything to do with anybody else, nobody on your team, not your husband, not your kids, nothing. It starts and ends with you. So I start my day with me. The first thing that I do every single morning is I make my skinny brew. I sit down and I read a chapter of whatever book it is that I'm reading. Just one chapter, not asking you to read 70 pages every morning. But that's where I start. And then once I get that chapter read, I get out my planner and I write out my affirmation statements. So every morning it's my I am ambassador. I am top 5. I make $50,000 a month. Those are my I am statements. They are the exact same every day until I hit one of those things, and then it changes. And then from there, I put my positive mindset or whatever onto my team. I actually pray over my team every morning. I write out the prayer in my team page so they can all read it, so they know exactly what my intentions are for them. And that's how I start my day. So, and 3 days a week when I actually do get my butt to the gym, I listen to Ed Milet while I'm on the treadmill. So that way I'm growing myself spiritually, growing myself business-wise, and growing myself oh my gosh, what's the other one? Reading my book. But there's like 3 different forms of self-development.
I love that. Are there any
spiritually, mentally, and business-wise or something?
Something like that. We all knew
Yes.
what you meant. You're good.
But I make sure they're all covered throughout the week.
You're like, do all the things. Are there any books that like stick out to you that you're like, this one is like a must read? Like you have to read it. Is there any that?
Yes, and I don't even have it in here. The one I read before what I'm reading now, the one I'm reading now is like positive. I can send you a picture of it. It's in the other room because I leave it by. But the one I read before it is actually called Who Are You Following by Sadie Robertson. This is a good one if you are a spiritual person. It basically teaches you that we follow Jesus first, and then from there we worry about everything else. And it's more along the lines of blocking out people that are not a great influence on you, or people that make you feel negatively. Like you follow people on Instagram and they just make you feel down, whether they make more money than you, you think that they have a better life than you do. And it's just draining, right? Like those picture perfect people on Instagram. That is why I am the most unaesthetically pleasing person you will ever meet on Instagram, because I do not care. I am me. But it will teach you to just not worry about those things, because that's not what is important. So who are you following? And the one that I read before that is Created to Dream. And that one is by Rick Warren, Created to Dream. This is actually a really short read, and this was incredible.
Love that. Is there anything that you feel like you want to add before we close out? Anything at all that you're like, I just want to say this?
I think the biggest thing for me, like looking at all of your lovely faces, is I can see self-doubt in some of your eyes. I can see some of you thinking, I've heard this time and time again. This is not the first time that I've heard XYZ on a Zoom. I don't feel, that I'm able to step up and do it. And I will tell you that you 1000% can. The biggest thing to take away from what I'm going to say is you've got to stop quitting on yourself. Okay. Whether that is being consistent for a week, not getting the results that you expect and stopping. You saying tomorrow I'm going to get 5 host to post up and you cut it short at 4. So you give up the next day because you feel like you're just not good enough. It's that consistent every single day of doing the same things every day that are going to get you to where you want. There are days where I'm like, I cannot sign a customer to save my life this week. And I get so down on myself that I then stop doing the work because I feel like I am not worthy of making it happen. And that is not where it's at. Where it is at is you getting up, you doing those tasks, regardless of how you feel, regardless of where you are at, because in the tasks is where the income comes from, right? It's not from the enrollments. Yes, the enrollments are incredible, but you have to wake up and say, I'm going to do this every single day because Sam Bauer says it works, because Courtney says it works, because whoever says it that works. It does work, you guys. I would not tell my team to do anything that I am not doing myself. And it's the same thing with you guys. I would not say, go do reels and host a post because it works if it didn't actually work. But you have to remember that this is a huge numbers game. Okay. It works, and network marketing and all of the things, they are numbers games. If you're not willing to do a little bit more every single day, then you're going to stay exactly where you are. You're not going to move.
Oh my gosh. So, so good. Thank you so, so much. You guys, please do not message her asking any questions. Don't blow her up. If you guys,
I do not mind. It just might take me like a week to answer, just so you know. And
oh my gosh, so funny. I just don't, I always feel like on a Zoom, if someone's like, okay, can you send this? I'm like, you guys give her a second. I will try to
I
get
don't
whatever
mind.
can.
I actually, guys, I'll teach you one big tip before we walk away from this Zoom. I have notifications turned off on Facebook Messenger, Facebook, and Instagram, because when I am not working, I don't want to see those app notifications pop up on my phone. If I want to work, then I will go into my Instagram. So that's my big tip. So that is why I don't answer people, because I literally don't know I have a message until I go into that app.
I love that. I love that so much. I just put my phone on do not disturb, and then I'll be like, it's like 47 notifications in 4 minutes. I'm like, dear Lord, what just happened?
No, if you just go into your settings and you mute all 3 of those, I actually have pretty much every single app on my phone notifications off.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording.